Hello and welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for another video. Today coming up for you is the preview between Girona and Barcelona in La Liga. Round 6 of matches about to kick off this weekend, and the games really have been coming thick and fast. So once again, the previews, like the reviews this season, will be coming to you courtesy of the One Football app, which is in the description down below. I explained to you guys last week about the UCL competition they have going on. You can win Champions League tickets for you and 2 friends. Check their terms and conditions, apply for that one, but all of that is on the app for you to get involved with. Great majority of users really do believe that Barcelona will be victorious tomorrow against Girona. Away game, 92% of One Football app users believe that Barcelona will be successful, and that's out of the 41,000 that have already taken part in voting on the app. So looking ahead at the game then, it is going to be the first ever Catalan derby between Girona and Barcelona in La Liga. They have never ever met before in a competitive competition, and that game will be kicking off at 8:45 on Saturday evening. We are the last La Liga game on the Saturday. Before that, there are some very tasty encounters from our direct rivals. The first game on the Saturday, 1300 hours local time, Atletico Madrid take on Sevilla at the Wanda Metropolitano, third against second in that game. That should be a really impressive tie. And then later on Saturday at 4:15 local time, Alaves, currently 19th and without a single point in La Liga, play Real Madrid, who are currently in 8th position. So a really good chance there against Alaves for Real Madrid to get back on track with a win after yet more disappointment in midweek for them. They lost at home against Real Betis. Just to mention that, in case you forgot. Moving on to the game itself, Girona against Barcelona. It really is a Catalan derby. There's about an hour or so between the two stadiums, so they really are in quite close proximity to each other in the city of Barcelona. Girona, first time in La Liga in their history, so a very big season for them. And they did start it very well. You know, they got a draw against Atletico Madrid on the opening day. They were up by 2 goals and just let that slip, but they did still record a very credible draw on the opening weekend. They currently lie though in 15th place. The last few weeks they have fell off the pace a little bit. They've got 5 points from their 5 games so far in La Liga. Their only win so far coming away at bottom of the league, Malaga, a 1-1 on the night. But in fairness to them, they've had a few difficult fixtures. Their losses have only come against Athletic Club and Sevilla, so there's no shame in losing to those kind of sides in La Liga. And so far, I would say overall, Girona have shown themselves in a very good light. They've signed some very good players. They have a partnership with Manchester City, so they have a lot of those exciting young players that Man City have got coming through their academy in their first team right now, and they have made some good signings throughout the summer as well. So Girona, a decent start to La Liga, first time here, and so far they've equipped themselves very well indeed. In terms of Barcelona though, coming into this game, there is absolutely no question that it has been a flawless start to life in La Liga under Ernesto Valverde for Barcelona. Top of the league, no questions asked, 15 out of 15 points, a maximum 5 wins out of 5 games, 2-0 at home on the opening day against Real Betis, then 0-2 away at Alaves, 5-0 against Espanyol at home, 2-1 away at Getafe, and 6-1 at home against Eibar. An incredible 17 goals so far from Barcelona in just 5 games. They average around 3.4 goals per game right now. And just to talk about Lionel Messi, who is currently by far and away the top goal scorer in La Liga with 9 goals. His 9 goals so far in the league from those 5 games are actually the same amount of goals that Real Madrid have scored as an entire team this season. So Lionel Messi, as always, taking on entire teams all on his own, and it's certainly been a case of that. He has been by far and away the best player of the season so far, not only for Barcelona, but I think right across the board in world football. Messi at false 9 so far is absolutely dominating matches. He's scoring goals, he's creating chances, he's looking incredibly fit, incredibly motivated, and that spells for very dangerous times for opposition defences. He has been incredible. You cannot hold him down. He's been good in his positioning. You know, he's dropped deep at times, he goes wide, you don't know where to pick him up. But the one thing you can guarantee, at the end of the game, he's got a very good chance right now of claiming that match ball. In nearly every single game so far this season, Messi could have easily walked away with the match ball, having scored a hat-trick. He has been sensational, and for that reason, Barcelona's form, I think, is going to go on. It is going to go on because this man is so incredible all on his own. But before we even start talking about the likes of Umtiti, Semedo, who are so good as well, players who are breaking through, giving quality to Barca, right now Messi all on his own is the difference, as he has been for so many years now. And Ernesto Valverde very much echoed that opinion in his press conference earlier on today. Of course, he had his usual pre-match press conference where he's asked a number of things. He did speak about Messi for quite a lot of the time, saying that he didn't really want to rest him yet. The time hadn't come to give Messi that rest. That a lot of us are wondering if it will come, because we all know Messi, he's very, very driven. He wants to try and score as many goals as he possibly can. He wants to stay out on the pitch and play football, what he loves doing. And a lot of the time, he doesn't want to rest. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Valverde said, "We are living in a unique moment right now. We all get to sit down and watch Lionel Messi play football every single weekend." And of course, he said that he's the best player in the world. He did have a special mention for Athletic Club centre-back Yeray Alvarez. If you haven't heard the story, it was the second time that he'd been diagnosed with testicular cancer, and he has beaten that for a second time, and that is fantastic news for the world of football. And Valverde himself, of course, former coach of Yeray, he said that he would absolutely love it if he could play when we do face Athletic Club later on this season. So hopefully all the best to him, but very, very good news to hear that. In terms of team selection, as always, Valverde not giving an entire amount away in his press conference. What he did say, though, was he expects Luis Suarez to start the game tomorrow. He said the idea was to have Suarez back in the team after his rest against Eibar. He was asked about Mascherano, of course, who impressed in the last game at Eibar. Piqué, of course, hasn't been great up until now, so that's going to be an interesting selection. I'm going to see my team in just a few moments, but Valverde said about Mascherano that he's a very, very important player to the team, both on the pitch and off it. We, of course, know Mascherano here for a number of years now, very much developed into a leader in the dressing room. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He was also asked about Deulofeu. Valverde said that he's progressing well. At times, he needs to make better decisions on the pitch. You know, he needs to be switched on to that, which, of course, we agree with. But Valverde did praise his work ethic for the team. But despite that praise from Ernesto Valverde for Deulofeu, he has indeed left him out of the squad for tomorrow's game against Girona. And not only that, but he has also left out Nelson Semedo. And I myself personally am absolutely shocked at that. I really am. I expected Semedo to certainly be in the squad once again, because we've seen this a few times now where Semedo is so good, just like he was against Eibar and Juve and Espanyol, and then the game week later he's left out of the squad. And every time so far, particularly look at the Getafe game, we've suffered. When Semedo isn't there, it doesn't only impact the right back, it doesn't impact our defence, it also impacts the entire of midfield. Semedo has been outstanding so far, one of the best players of our season, no doubt about it, and to see him out of the squad for me is really, really disappointing. This is the team that I would go with in his absence and in Deulofeu's absence, but what I will say about Semedo just quickly is that it's starting to get very, very suspicious. If Valverde keeps leaving him out in sort of every other game or every other game more than other people are being left out, it starts to get very suspicious indeed. And I'm not looking at Valverde, I'm looking at the board, because we all know that if Semedo makes a certain amount of appearances, we have to pay Benfica add-ons for his transfer. We've got to pay them more money. I think this could be a bit of penny pinching, and it could be a bit of that, because we don't want to pay the add-ons, we're going to leave Semedo out of games. That could impact our season, so I really, really hope that the board are not doing that, because if they were, that would be ludicrous. This is a game that we want to win. We want to go into every game with the best team that we have. We don't want to be leaving players out simply because of add-on payments. But Ter Stegen in goal. Jordi Alba, I think, is guaranteed to return at left back. Digne played well against Eibar, but I think Jordi Alba right now, of course, is our #1 undisputed left back. In terms of a right back replacing Nelson Semedo, I think will be Sergio Roberto. Obviously, I wish Nelson Semedo could be playing, but with not him in the squad, it does look like Roberto will be the man to replace him. It seems like he's very much the right back sub this season, which also disappoints me. I'd like to see him in midfield. I think we all hope that this season he could develop into a midfield player. We saw him in the first few games of the season play there and play very well. So it's very disappointing to me that he's being used as a right back, possibly because we got so many options in the midfield areas. He's being pushed out there, but I really hope he could have been our priority this season in midfield. But unfortunately, it does look as though if Semedo doesn't play, he'll be the man to fill in that right position, which is not his own, but he can play there, of course. Unless Valverde goes to something completely unforeseen, like a 3 at the back or some other plan, it looks like Roberto will play there in that that right-back role. Sergio Busquets was able to have a bit of a rest against Eibar. He was taken off by Valverde. We don't really have an out-and-out replacement, and I think there's no better one than him in the world, so I would play Busquets in that midfield. Alongside him, I would have Denis Suarez and Ivan Rakitic. I think the time has come now, although he's been substituted in quite a few of the games of late, Iniesta has been given a bit of rest. I think the time right now is to take him out of the firing line entirely. There's been nothing wrong with his performances at all, but I think he needs a full rest. He needs to recover. He can't be seen to be playing too many games this early in the season. He needs a full rest, a complete rest out of the team. And I know it's going to be Girona, and I know it's going to be difficult, but I think with Denis Suarez in the form that he's in, can take his place for the time being in this game, and then get Iniesta back for the Champions League game against Sporting Lisbon on Wednesday and be completely fresh for that game and start the cycle once again. And I think alongside him, Ivan Rakitic didn't start against Eibar, came on as a substitute, comes back into the midfield. He gives a lot in that midfield. He's looked better as the season has started this campaign. He's looked more refreshed. He's looked good in that role. Luis Suarez expected to return to the attacking line, as of course will Lionel Messi. Will start, no doubt about that, as he does 9 times out of 10 when he's available. You play him. But it's that right wing slot, isn't it, that really up for grabs. You know, his man Dembele injured, Deulofeu left out of the squad. He wasn't brilliant against Eibar, but I think leaving him out is more out of sort of fatigue. He's not really been one of the ones who's been rested, so this is his moment for that. But it comes at a time when we're going to need the likes of Vidal possibly to fill in at right back, so that's why I think Roberto will play there. Vidal could play further up. We saw him come on against Eibar in that right wing role. Apparently he's been training in that role to try to get more experience in that attacking third, and Vidal did play quite well against Eibar. He came on, he set up Lionel Messi's final goal, so he could be an interesting option to play there. I'm kind of wondering if Denis Suarez could possibly fill in on the right. I know on the right he's certainly not as comfortable as he is on the left, like we saw against Eibar, but I think Valverde was very, very impressed with performances against Eibar and against Getafe as well when he scored that fantastic goal. So it could be interesting to see if Denis can play on the right, but I know that he's not as comfortable as he is on the left, so that possibly may not be an option for this game. Arda Turan has been left out of the squad, so he is not an option on that right hand side, although Alcácer is included and he could possibly fill in there if necessary. But I think the most likely one right now would be Alex Vidal. He came on against Eibar, he showed a bit of quality. That could be enough to earn him a start against Girona, and he'll need to take that. He'll need to show his quality once again and prove that he could be an option whilst Dembele is out injured on that right wing. So with that in mind, I do think it is going to be a tough game against Girona. I don't think we can take Girona lightly. They started the season well. They showed Atletico Madrid early on in the season exactly what they've got. They threatened them on that day, both offensively and defensively. They were strong as well. They're going to be difficult. It's going to be a derby game. It's going to be a good atmosphere at Girona, and for that reason, I'm not going to go for a blowout. I'm going to go for 2-0 Barcelona. I hope that we can keep a clean sheet in this game. We've failed to keep a clean sheet in our last 2 games. Hopefully we can get back to the form and defence that we was at the start of the season, where we were keeping clean sheets like they were going out of fashion. And I think Lionel Messi at the double. I think he's going to get a brace again. He's going to go close to a hat-trick, or close to another match ball, but he's just going to fall short. 2 goals for me from Lionel Messi, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 scoreline and another win, which would be absolutely fantastic. 6 out of 6 wins would be incredible ahead of that Champions League game away at Sporting Lisbon next Wednesday. That's going to be a big game in our group. We're going to need our players fresh for that, but right now the challenge is Girona, and our mind should be fully 110% on that game. Let me know your thoughts as always down below, guys. What are your score predictions? What are your goal scorer predictions? And what are your lineup predictions as well? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. I'll see you tomorrow with more uploads, of course, as the game is getting closer. I'll have my lineup reaction, I'll have my match review, my player ratings, and lots more going on the channel as well. I'll see you then, guys, but until then, as always, Vasca el Barça!